We fought a war to end the sin of slavery, a civil war. People died by the untold numbers in that war, many of whom fought and died because of their belief that slavery was a sin against man, that it was inhumane, that it was not reflective of who we believe ourselves to be as a country, and certainly not reflective of who we aspire to be. So who then would dare deny this history? Let us not let these politicians who are trying to divide our country win. Because you see, what they are doing is they are creating these unnecessary debates. This is unnecessary to debate whether enslaved people benefited from slavery. Are you kidding me? Are we supposed to debate that?
Wait until you learn how low the bar is for Kamala Harris. She can get up on stage, say something that's completely untrue, and then watch as people on CNN fawn all over her. Then when they're told it's not true, they say they don't care, and then declare that wouldn't it be nice if we could just get together and agree politically that slavery was bad? Why do we have all this division in this country? All we're doing is accusing 50% of the country of being pro-slavery and promoting some of the dumbest stuff you've heard in quite some time. Now, you may have thought the controversy over Jason Aldean was the stupidest thing you were going to see in the last week. They ran Kamala Harris out and said, no, look how dumb this person is.
You know the history. And let us not let these politicians who are trying to divide our country win. This is unnecessary to debate whether enslaved people benefited from slavery. Are you kidding me? Are we supposed to debate that?
Yeah, you know you always have a strong argument when you're saying, are you kidding me? Come on. Like, what's going on? I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing? Can you believe this? And then you add, are we debating whether slavery was good? No. No one's debating whether slavery is good. No one's even remotely debating slavery being good. Kamala Harris is a liar. She is an affirmative action hire. And she is a failure at pretty much everything she has ever done, except giving Joe Biden a black shield so he could be elected president of the United States and reelected as well. So there's that. There's that part of it. Yeah, there's that. But that's just Kamala Harris stupidity. It continues. The American media, pretty stupid as well.
Welcome back to State of the Union. Vice President Kamala Harris talking about the Florida Board of Education's new standards for how Black history should be taught in public schools. My panel joins me now. Karen Finney, I know that you have heard a lot of Democrats over the past 2.5 years saying the vice president needs to get out there more. Where's Kamala? All of those things. What do you make of this?
It was a stellar moment, and I think she did something that she has done often in the last couple of years, which is in a moment when something needed to be said, she got out there and said it and really channeled what people were feeling. I mean, the idea that we would literally have a conversation, I mean, I have to laugh, it's so disgusting, that there were personal benefits of any kind to slaves. That's like saying women, were happy when we couldn't vote and we couldn't have our own banking accounts. I mean, it's just ridiculous. She's had these.
I mean, come on, guys. Like, what are we doing? For real? Are we doing this? Wow, can you not believe? I mean, just vapid nonsense. And this woman worked for Hillary Clinton, so she knows all about vapid nonsense, and for some reason learned nothing from all the vapid nonsense she already pushed in her career, and now she's doing it here. We're not debating whether or not slavery was good for black people. That's not what it says. It's not what the standards say. That's not what it means. Nobody believes that. But they think they have a moment for a political point here, So they're going to try their best to score it, and Dana Bash is going to nod along like a dope.
Moments when she's talking about reproductive freedom, when she went down to Tennessee after the shooting and the two gentlemen were expelled from the legislature. I mean, she's been able to, in these moments, speak to what people are feeling. I think we're going to see a lot more of it throughout this campaign. We're going to see her on the road talking about these issues and reminding us that that's literally, as we're talking about the economy and we're talking about the progress that the Biden-Harris administration has made, there are also very real, serious issues at stake in terms of who gets to be part of our democracy.
Okay, well, all right, democracy, reproductive rights, and the stuff going on in Tennessee with those two individuals. There were three, actually, but they're only talking about the two black guys that were kicked out of the legislature. So basically, if there is a story in this country where the media needs a stupid narrative promoted, or the Biden administration needs a stupid narrative promoted, but it's the same thing, they send Kamala Harris out to say the dumb thing. And then they say, well, the vice president is saying this, so it's important. Think about it. Reproductive right, they goofed that all up because they said 18 weeks was too extreme, and now they have abortion bans across the country. This idea that there are people not allowed to participate in our democracy, I have no idea what that means, and this woman couldn't even begin to explain that. And then, of course, throwing people out of the legislature in Tennessee because they were doing things like, inciting an insurrection, right? That's what we're supposed to pretend is going on. But no, all those things were powerful moments for Kamala Harris. So if you need a liar, Kamala Harris is your person.
Well, it's amazing to me that how little Kamala Harris apparently has to do, that she can read something on Twitter one day and be on an airplane the next to make.
It is a great point here that Scott Jennings always makes when he's on this program or these programs. Everyone around him is lying. He's now going to tell the truth, and then they're going to ignore every single thing he says. But what he's saying here is Kamala Harris has absolutely nothing to do. So when a fake controversy bubbles up on Twitter, she's the rapid response team because she's got nothing else going on.
Something literally out of nothing. This is a completely made-up deal. I looked at the standards. I even looked at an analysis of the standards in every instance where the word slavery or slave was used. I even read the statement of the African-American scholars that wrote the standards, not Ron DeSantis, but the scholars. Everybody involved in this says this is completely a fabricated issue. And yet, look how quickly Kamala Harris jumped on it. So the fact that this is her best moment, a fabricated matter, is pretty ridiculous in my opinion.
Let's get Ashley in.
Well, I'm glad.
Now, so they ignore everything he says, and now they're going to pretend he didn't say anything, and they're going to continue right on with this narrative. But everything he just said there is true. She has nothing going for her, so you have guys like him that have to point that out. Occasionally they get the opportunity to, and then they just move on as if nothing happened.
Glad she went down, and I'm glad she spoke on the issue. And just because black people write it don't mean that it doesn't mean it's going to be accurate. Like, we can disagree as black people as well. I think what the bigger picture is that this is happening in Florida. This is happening in Florida where you have a governor who has an anti-woke bill, who has a don't say gay bill, who wants
again, also lie. There's no don't say gay bill, but sure.
Wants to ban DEI programs, who wants to ban Rosa Parks. And that
He wants to ban Rosa Parks, guys. Please, we're just telling the truth here. That's all we're doing. This is CNN.
Now you have children reading Rosa Parks or other academic books that talk about a diversity of issues. I think at this panel we can all agree that slaves did not benefit from slavery, even if the citation says, well, they might have gotten some, but they didn't have a choice, so that's not a benefit. Slaves did not have the freedom to choose. If Ron DeSantis said maybe they could have become a blacksmith, not when they didn't have the choice to become a blacksmith. And so that was what Kamala Harris is saying. And I hope in this moment, when we have such a contentious political environment, that we can all agree that slavery was not a good thing and slaves did not benefit. And then we could move on. But the problem is the governor, who is the second in the polls for the Republican nomination, won't do that.
Well,
let's be clear here for a second. That issue is not happening. There's no debate about whether or not slavery was good or any of this stuff. And Ron DeSantis isn't doing anything. You're lying about the actual issue. And you're only lying about the actual issue because last week you were lying about some issue involving a Jason Aldean song. and how it was racist because it was in front of a courthouse. This is just the latest lie the American media has jumped onto. That's it. They don't mean any of this stuff. They don't believe any of this stuff. This is stuff that is being done for stupid people and for politics that benefit stupid people. That's all this is. And this woman at the end is a perfect example. I hope we can all just come together and agree that slavery is bad and it didn't benefit black people. No one's saying it did. That's the whole point. I just hope we can all come together and agree. I hope we can all come together and agree that that woman's a liar, Dana Bash is a liar, every other person on that panel is a liar except for Scott Jennings. He told them the truth, they didn't like it, so they ignored him. That's what happened, and that's what's happening in the American media right this very second on this issue and every other issue as well. The lies get all the light. The darkness is filled with the truth, and they don't want to hear it. That's how they're operating. That's how this campaign's going to go, and that's exactly what the media's been doing as long as I've been alive. So it's no real change here. It just gets more and more pathetic.